Hello everyone, welcome to our talk show. I'm Mai, a primary school teacher.
Hello, I'm Van. Nice to see everyone.
I'm Ling. Hello, everybody.
Yes, so haven't you ever encountered a class in which students are all quiet and don't show any engagement in the class activities? I guess we all have. That's why three of us today will share our issues and dynamic ways to improve student-to-student interaction. So now, let's get started. Miss Wen, what kind of problems have you coped with when it comes to student-to-student interaction activities?
Yes, there are three related problems based on my own experience. The first one is student lack basic skills in interacting with others in a work group. Not only that, student tends to be limited in giving constructive arguments. Sometimes there is a lot of focus on arguments, disagreements, and off-topic discussions. The last but not least, as far as I concern, when it comes to a result of interdependence, and it reduces productivity and imbalances in interactions. So as you may have known, there is some kind of a solution that I have come across. There is a skill set that teachers may want to take into account and give a clear instruction to students to support enhancing their interaction. For example, active listening or checking teams members' understanding, etc. Besides, we are, as a teacher, should provide opportunities for students to work in pairs and small groups, then use a variety of communication methods, such as discussions, presentations, and brainstorming. For the next step, since the dissimilarity, dividing the members into different diversified groups, different gender, ability, etc., so that students get out of the original mode and can learn from each other better. As students would expect, so teachers need to set standards in the classroom so that students be able to encourage each other to learn. In this way, the classroom becomes a place where students are interested in each other's learning and are more successful working together. The last solution that I'd like to recommend is consider using brainstorming exercises in which students think individually about a question, discuss an idea together, and then pool the results. Or maybe you can use zigzag activities, open-ended questions with more than one correct answer to promote debates in class. Students need to find out on their own the controversial issue from many perspectives and try to come to a favorable consensus.
And then, what solutions have you applied to your students?
Based on the lesson, I had created some activities for students who work in pairs or small groups, then make them use a variety of communication methods, such as discussion, presentation, or brainstorming. For example, for practicing present simple, yes, no question, I will ask students to make up conversation based on a sample in the textbook. I will do a demonstration first with a few students, then give them time to practice, and then pick a few pairs to speak out their prepared conversations. So before that, I have also given instruction of active listening, as check your team members' understanding or taking notes before my students discuss. So I'll have questions for my student in my class. Just meet one another like twice a week. So they are shy around their friends since they don't know much about others. So they don't feel like group or pair work. How can I solve the problem?
I think that the solution here is to build a strong connection between students. I myself recommend using Palette, which is a very familiar platform for all teachers here. So students can use Palette to introduce themselves. And then later on at class, they can do worksheet or get to know games about the information on the Palette. I think this worked amazing because it can help to save a lot of time and it can access the online yearbook. Another one is TPR activity, such as the classic one, Simon Say, My activity, or song-related activity, and finally Pictionary. These activities are proven that stress-free and they create enjoyable atmosphere, so students can have fun together, and it is also a very effective one. Another method is using debate. Heated arguments on controversial topics always make your class like really hot. What I mean by that is students can learn from each other, and the student love the competition, so the class will be very dynamic and enthusiastic as well. I also recommend another one, which is role play. It can take place in former interviews, story, or plays. So these will help them like mostly group work, so they can work closely with each other, and it can create dynamic environment. Um, the next one is using projects, which always require creativity. So, for example, you can ask your student to make poster or brochures. Allow students to do something just rather than language will help them have like feel better, and they can work happily with each other. Last but not least, we come to the peer feedback. This one is not really as dynamic as the other activities, but peer feedback in writing and speaking can help students work more together after class. It means that they have to spend extra time together, and they will get to know each other more, which is really important because it builds the foundation, the understanding between students, and they can act more dynamically and enthusiastically at the class. So that is my part. And but I also have some questions. Like recently, I heard about the term learning station rotation and their effectiveness in improving the interaction. But I'm not quite sure about it. So can anybody help?
Yes, I can have you to explain what is the station rotations. Uh, the first one, you need to understand what is the station rotation, right? One of the most popular blend learning models is the station rotations. Miss Van, can you move the slide, please? It transfers a traditional theory-based classroom into the virtually enriched hands-on workshop. Unlike other blend learning models, the station rotation model takes place within the physical classroom or training room. During the classroom, students rotate on a fixed schedule among various modalities, which usually include 4 or 5 learning stations. Okay, I will give you guys an example. A learner may complete a worksheet in one station. Other stations, students will do some art and craft by themselves. Then they can join in a group activity like role play or making poster. And finally, they can engage in teacher-led instruction. So students tend to be grouped by learning styles, skills, or needs. And I will show you how to set up the station rotation. Just like above, I will break my class into 4 or 5 groups based on the student skill levels. Stations can either be mixed ability or leveled. This will totally depend on you. You can mix things up here. Maybe some days you want mixed, other days you don't want to mix them following the levels. You can base on the age or race or gender even. This setup lets you mix things up as you like. There are 2 more pictures about the station rotations. Okay, I will give you guys some tips. The first one, you're gonna use your teacher-led station for a range of activities beyond the different yet direct instructions. Model process for real-time feedback, lead a small group discussions, guide practice and applications, conference with students. The second one, please switch up your groups. The third one, you're gonna project a timer so students can keep track of the time as they work. I use a free online timer with a bell that rings at the end of the rotations. The fourth one, you need to make sure every station has the crystal clear directions. And the last one, please decide on a strategy for transitions. I like to have my kids organize materials, stand by the chair with materials in hand quietly. And when everyone is standing quietly, they head to the next station. It's simple and efficient. And here are the benefits of station rotation model. The first one, personalized learning experiences. The second one, variety in learning methods improve knowledge retentions. And the last one is the collaborative learning improves learning. And that is the interaction between student and in station rotations. Station rotation can provide opportunities for students to work in pairs or small groups and use multiple models of communication like discussions, making presentations, or brainstorming together. And maybe it encourages in-depth conversation among students. That's all about my part. So hopefully our sharings today will be effective and useful to tackle these contemporary problems. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.